Welcome to the Voice of MPE. In this MPE Talk series, we bring you fresh insights from top industry leaders and payments professionals. I'm really pleased to be joined today by Vishal Shukla, Lead Product Manager at 𝘁repco Technology Services. Vishal brings deep experience from the payment side and has worked extensively at the intersection of product technology and merchant expectations, which makes him the perfect guest for today's discussion. For those who don't know me, I'm Lee Clifton, one of MPE ambassadors, and I've had the pleasure of moderating several high-impact conversations across payments, fintech, and merchant experience. Today, we're diving into a topic that's become increasingly important for merchants of all sizes: payment orchestration. The real use cases, what's working in the market, and alternative merchants have when deciding whether to build, buy, or optimize what they have already. We'll explore where orchestration truly adds value, where it often misunderstood, and how merchants can evaluate the right path forward. We'll also explore how orchestration today goes beyond processing, shaping trust, payout speed, compliance, and the entire deposit-to-withdrawal experience. So with that, let's jump in. Vishal, to set the stage, when you think about payment orchestration, what does that term actually mean to you as a product leader?
First of all, I would like to thank Beam for having on this podcast, and I'm really excited to dive into this topic and share some insights on payment orchestration. So coming back to the question, payment orchestration is about intelligently managing the entire payment workflow across multiple providers, methods, geographies, and not just routing transactions, but optimizing them for cost, speed, compliance, and user experience.
That's great. And why do you think it's become such a hot topic across both merchants and payment providers recently?
I think there are three big drivers. First of all is global fragmentation, right? A lot of local payment methods and local wallets, if you go to Southeast Asia or South America, and no single provider can cover every market perfectly, right? And the second one is customer expectations are for now becoming for instant and seamless experience, right? So especially in high frequency verticals like gaming, marketplaces, and fintech. And the third one is the cost pressure, right? Merchants need smarter ways to improve conversion and compliance without adding complexity. And I think orchestration solves all three of them.
Absolutely. So when we talk about orchestration today, are we still talking about just authorization and settlement, or has it now expanded to truly managing the full deposit to withdrawal cycle?
Good question. Yeah, it has expanded significantly now, right? So today orchestration covers the whole, or let's say full deposit lifecycle, withdrawal lifecycle, and deposit to withdrawal lifecycle, which also includes, refunds and chargebacks. And then there are also like risk and compliance checks embedded into the flow. There's also smart routing and failover for resilience. And there is also data-driven optimization happening for conversion and cost optimization. So it's no longer just the router, but I would say it's a strategic control layer.
Absolutely. And so where does trust really show up for you when you're thinking about orchestration? Is it speed? Is it transparency? Is it compliance? Or is it a combination of all three?
I would say it's a combination of all three, but in a different ways, right? So speed builds confidence, right? So we have instant deposits and withdrawals, and this signifies my money is moving fast, right? Then we have transparency that reduces friction on the customer level with clear status reporting, and so as a user or customer, I know where my money is, right? And compliance ensures safety, right? Meeting local laws without friction. So I know my money is secure and legal. So trust is sum of all this across the payment journey.
That's great. And if you had to define the real value of orchestration in one sentence, is it operational efficiency? Is it conversion lift? Or is it actually the trust it builds across the full payment journey?
Payment orchestration delivers operational efficiency and conversion lift while building trust through speed, transparency, and compliance across entire payment lifecycle.
Got it. And from your experience, which of these challenges are usually the biggest trigger points that make a merchant seriously consider orchestration?
I would just quote 4 or 5 of them, and if you have one of them, probably it signals that you seriously should consider about orchestration, right? So if the merchant is having high decline rates across key markets, right, or merchant is having operational pain where their manual reconciliation and settlement across multiple PSPs is becoming unsustainable for them. They have expansion needs, so they want to enter new markets and new geographies and want to add payment methods quickly. They have regulatory pressure, right? So there is a need for a centralized compliance and audit trails in the flow. And then there is, customer experience issues, right? So delays in withdrawals or deposits are failing, which is eroding the trust. Yeah.
Got it, thank you. And are you noticing differences between digital native merchants, gaming and gambling operators, and more traditional retailers in how they think about orchestration?
Interesting. Digital native merchants, they usually prioritize speed and scalability, and they are often early adopters of orchestration for global reach. Gaming and gambling operators, they usually focus on instant deposits and withdrawals, and they have regulatory compliance and fraud prevention to take care of. And traditional retailers, they are more, I would say, concerned with cost optimization and reducing operational complexity. For them, there is less urgency around instant payouts.
Got it. And kind of leads me into my next question. So when you bring this into the real world, what are the top 3 or 4 use cases where orchestration truly moves the needle for merchants?
So I would just quote 4. There are a lot, but that really that's relevant for these days is smart routing for deposits. Why it matters for merchants, because the merchants often deal with multiple PSPs and local payment methods. So poor routing leads to high decline rates and lost revenue. And orchestration dynamically routes transactions based on geography and then payment method, cost, and success rates. And these also include, real-time failover if the provider goes down. The second one is instant withdrawals with compliance built in, right? Customers nowadays expect withdrawals to be as fast as deposits. And compliance checks are often, the things that slows them down into the whole process. So orchestration helps in automating these compliance checks and integrating multiple payout rails in one flow. The third one is unified lifecycle management, which is deposit, withdrawal, refund, and chargebacks. Usually, these things are in fragmented systems, creating frictions in refunds, chargebacks, and reconciliation. And what orchestration can provide is a single control layer for the entire payment journey, ensuring transparency and consistency across both, inflows and outflows. And last but not the least is compliance and risk orchestration, right? So different providers have varying compliance standards, creating complexity for the merchants. And orchestration can help in centralizing all of this, like KYC and AML checks, fraud checks, and audit trails across all providers.
That's great. And actually, my next question is around compliance. So how is orchestration now supporting automated local regulatory checks and reporting to authorities as merchants scale across markets?
Oh, yeah. So modern payment orchestration platforms have now evolved beyond, routing and optimization. They now also embed compliance automation as their core capability. And here is how they do it, right? So they have local regulatory checks built inside the flow. So orchestration layers integrate this KYC and AML modules, fraud tools, and local compliance rules directly into the transaction flow. So when a payment is initiated, the platform applies jurisdiction-specific checks, PSD for EU, local gambling regulations for different, regulated markets, before routing the transaction to the PSP. And this ensures that the merchants remain compliant without manual intervention. The second thing that they do is automated reporting to authorities, right? So they centralize transaction data and generate audit ready reports for regulators, and they also maintain real time logs of approvals, declines, and compliance checks, which can be exported or automatically shared with the authorities when required. And then the third one is again unifying the life cycle, as I said, but we only focus on deposits, but it's also like withdrawals, refunds, and chargebacks. They are also under the regulatory oversight, right? So orchestration ensures that consistent compliance logic is applied across the whole life cycle, right? And the fourth one is dynamic adaptation to market rules. So the merchants don't have to do it. Now it's the orchestrators who do it for them. And this is very critical for industries like gambling or gaming and fintech, where regulation changes frequently.
That's great. So when a merchant decides they need orchestration, what real options do they have to build internally or buy an orchestration platform or take a hybrid route?
There are three options, right? One, and I will share positive and negative points, couple of them, and then what drives the decision, right? So if you want to build internally, the positive side is you have full control over architecture, compliance logic, and integrations, right? And you can tailor it to your business needs. And the negative side of it is that you have high upfront cost and long time to market. It requires a specialized engineering and compliance expertise on your side as a merchant. And then there is always ongoing maintenance and scalability challenges that you will face. If you want to buy an orchestration platform, yes, the positive side is you can go faster to the market with the proven technology of the orchestration platform, because you have access to all the pre-built integrations, compliance modules, and global PSP network. And they will also support you in a lot of ways. But the negative side is that it's you have less customization compared to in-house modules, and there are subscription and transaction based fees. And then there is the third one, right, which is a hybrid approach, which is a combination of both, where you can combine vendor capabilities with your internal logic for unique workflows. And then you also have flexibility to own critical components on the merchant side, which is on your side, while outsourcing routing or integrations. And the negative side of it is that it requires strong vendor management and technical alignment. Yes. So the key decision drivers, I would say, in this is scale and speed. How fast do you want to launch? Compliance. Do you have an internal expertise with that in multiple markets? And cost versus control, right? So is full ownership worth the investment compared to leveraging proven platforms?
That's great, thank you. And so if a merchant is evaluating these paths, what signals or maturity markers should tell them it's time to move beyond aggregator only or direct PSP setups, or something that's more orchestrated and adaptive?
Yeah, I mean, I would say merchant typically starts with direct PSP integrations or aggregators for simplicity and speed, right? But as they scale, there are definitely certain things that signals you have to go for orchestrator. So if a merchant is expanding globally, right, and want to add different payment methods, they are facing conversion challenges, or they are struggling with compliance and data fragmentation, I would say it's the time to move beyond aggregator or direct PSP setups into orchestration or hybrid models that we just described for scalability, right, efficiency, and trust.
Brilliant. And so from a product and tech perspective, what are the most overlooked complexities when implementing an orchestration strategy?
Okay. Usually from product and tech perspective, it's simple, right? It sounds very simple: connect multiple PSPs and route smartly. I would say, but the reality is far more complex, and I would quote a couple of things which are underestimated areas, like compliance integrations across markets. Tech teams often underestimate the effort to automate compliance without slowing performance, and this is also like very relevant when merchants operate in regulatory industries, right? Where compliance logic varies by jurisdiction. The second one is data normalization and reporting. So PSP usually return different data formats, error codes, and reconciliation structures, and building a single source of truth for reporting, analytics, and audit trails requires a significant engineering and product design. Right? Third one is routing logic beyond deposits, right? So you also need this logic, and which is now prevalent for withdrawals is and refunds and chargebacks. So yes, this is another point, and user experience personalization, right? So dynamic payment options based on geography, risk profile, user preference require orchestration to interact with front end systems in real time. And this adds complexity into the whole, I would say, design. So the key takeaway I would say from this is assuming orchestration just as a technical router is doesn't make sense, right? So you have to consider it as a strategic control layer that touches compliance, data, risk, user experience, and scalability, all of which requires deep product and tech alignment.
Got it. Good. And Vishal, if you dust off your crystal ball and look ahead, where do you see orchestration evolving next? Is it more automation? Is it AI-driven routing? Is it broader risk orchestration?
I would say all of this, plus I will add one. So automation, there will be definitely more automation across the entire life cycle, and there will be real time compliance checks embedded and reporting without, I would say, manual intervention. So more automation across the life cycle. Then there will be AI driven routing and optimization, and I have seen that some of the payment orchestrations have already started doing it, right? So machine learning models will analyze success rates, cost, fraud patterns, user behavior to make routing decisions. There is also something called predictive routing, right? So choosing the PSP most likely to succeed for a specific user profile and geography. Third one is, yes, broader risk orchestration. So orchestration will become a control tower for risk, which is like, by integrating fraud engines, behavioral analytics, and dynamic risk scoring. And the last one, as I said, is personalization, right? This is going to be, one of the biggest entry point, where dynamic payment experiences tailored to geography, risk profile, and user experience will becoming more, and AI driven personalization for VIP users, or payment preferred payment method, or instant payouts. All of this will be more. So the future of orchestration is intelligent, adaptive, risk aware, all of this powered by AI and automation to deliver speed, trust, and personalization at global scale.
Great. And a closing question. If you could give merchants one piece of advice before getting an orchestration or before starting an orchestration project, what would it be? Get your data and ownership strategy right before you start. Right. So orchestration isn't just about connecting PSPs. It's becoming more about making real time data informed. I have stopped using data driven, data informed decisions across routing, compliance, and risk. And if your payment data is fragmented, inconsistent, or locked in vendor silos, orchestration will never deliver its full value. So I would say, ask yourself, do we have a clean, unified, actionable payment data? One.
Who owns the routing logic, compliance workflows, and risk model? It's us or the vendor? And the third one is how we will maintain visibility and control as we scale globally. Without clarity on this, orchestration can become an expensive integration layer instead of a strategic advantage.
That's great. So Vishal, thank you so much for sharing your insights today, a really valuable perspective across both the product and the merchant landscapes. We hope this session helps clarify not just what orchestration is, but how it now defines the full payment experience from instant deposits to trusted withdrawals, regulatory assurance, and scalable optimization.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's been a pleasure sharing my knowledge, my thoughts, and learning from this conversation.
That's right. And lastly, thanks for listening to this MPE Talks episode, part of MPE 2026 conference, which is happening in March the 17th to 19th in Berlin next year.